It's Maxine here from Northumberland Zoo, and thank you for tuning in to this week's Zoo News Update. It has been an amazing half-term week. The weather has been stunning all week and we've been super busy. So thank you very much to anyone who's come along and supported us this week. That's awesome. And obviously if you still want to come, you just need to pre-book on our website at northumberlandzoo.co.uk. So this week I wanted to show you how we're getting on with our native species building. The project is coming along really well and we're looking to be reopening it here very soon. And what I wanted to talk to you about was the bees. Now the bees has been very complex. Not only is it probably one of our smallest exhibits that we actually have here at the zoo, but it's probably one of the most complex, but also holds the most amount of animals. So instantly our population of animals is going to be increasing by several thousand in one day, which seems a bit mind-blowing when you look at numbers. So we've been working very, very closely with the Beekeepers Association, with Peter there, in designing a unique type of beehive that allows them to be on show so that people, visitors like you, can see what bees get up to. And it'll also be really interesting from a beekeeping point of view as well, because beekeepers don't normally get to actually see them doing stuff. This is like a standard type of bee box that we were provided with to kind of work from, and these are what's called frames. So if you have a little look, you can see that they have got this lovely wax layer already put onto them, and they've got this lovely little hexagonal pattern on them to kind of start the bees off. This gives the bees a little bit of structure to work from, so they don't have to completely rely on their own building, and it saves time. So all of these little hives have these frames in, and as you can see, this one here has actually had a bit of work done on it in the past. So look at how it kind of sticks out. It's almost like 3D. So we're getting a group of European honeybees, and in a colony you get one queen and the rest are worker bees and drones. So the queen is the one that does all the laying. So what she'll do is she'll come along to this and she'll start laying in the middle an egg, and she'll start working out in a circular fashion. Then it's up to the worker bees to come along and tend to the eggs, feed any larvae, and look after them and nurture them to grow into more worker bees. So on any given day, the queen can lay up to 1,000 eggs, which is an amazing feat. So her goal is to grow the hive and make it biggest colony as possible. The worker bees are all female, and the queen bee purposely lays females for that role. So she actually knows before she lays an egg, she's like, right, I'm going to make a female, right, I'm going to make a female. And it's only 5% of the population in a hive that are actually males, and they're called drones. The males don't do any work in the hive, they don't do any kind of housekeeping, they don't look after any of the children, they don't do nothing like that, and they have one purpose, and that's at the beginning of the season. So in the springtime, their mission is to go out and try and find queens from other hives who are out and about scouting for places to live, and breed with them, mate with them, to try and spread the genetic information from this colony around, because obviously they want to be successful. So when you have a little look in the hive, you'll see there's 3 types of bees to look at. You've got the majority of them, so 99% of them, 95% of them are the worker bees, which is like a standard size bee. Then you got the drones, which are slightly bigger and they're slightly more muscular because they need to fly fast to catch those queens. And then the queen bee is the largest bee of all. You'll be very, very lucky to see the queen bee. Queen bees don't really like the light very much, so they're probably going to be spending quite a lot of time at the back of the hive. So now that we know a little bit about bees, I want to show you what we've come up with to try and put them on show. So that's a standard frame. Now, this is the top box from our new beehive. The idea is, with this new hive, is that we're going to pop the frames in here like this, and then we have a little slide that we've designed on the side here, so it puts the frame on show. So you'll be able to have a little look through this window and see what's happening on this actual frame here. Now, in the past, at other zoos and other places that have had on-show hives, they tend to have one big frame, so one of these, but like massive, and it's just a single pane. and it's behind one singular piece of glass. Well, bees and queens especially don't really like light, and what they'll find is that the bees will actually leave. It's not really the type of house that they're looking for. They're actually looking for more like a tree stump or somewhere, you know, quite secluded and quite closed off. So being kind of on show and in the light is not really where they want to be. So we have designed this hive in such a way that we can obviously close these slides off and highlight different parts of the hive at different parts of the day. So if we've got 5 of these units stacked on top of each other, it kind of almost creates an artificial tree trunk. So the bees have access all the way through. There's no floors in them. So it's just basically one big hollow area. So I'll just show you really quickly. Here's 2 more of the units. And then that one can fit on top of there like that. So you can see it can be quite complex. So this is just 3 of the boxes. We have 5 in total. So every day we have the option to kind of like, shall we show what's happening in this one today, or we'll give them a break tomorrow and we'll show what's happening in this one. So there's lots of different opportunities there. So even if you might not be able to see the bees actually doing something when the window's open, at least you can see what they did yesterday. So we'll be able to see a lot of activity and see how it goes. Now, you may notice that there is actually a bit of a thicker section between these 2 boxes here. So when you come and have a look at the hive, in between boxes 4 and 5, because there's 2 more below this one, there is what's called a queen excluder. Now, the queen excluder is exactly what it says on the tin, which basically means that the queen is not allowed in that top box. So this is what the queen excluder looks like. And basically, only the worker bees can fit through these holes. Because the queen is larger, she can't actually fit through there. So by sticking that on top of this box here, that means that she can't climb through and access these frames in this top box. So why would we not want her to get into the top box? If she has access to these frames in the top, what she will do is she will come and lay eggs in them. That's all she wants to do, that's all she's bothered about, is laying eggs. So by putting the queen excluder in, she can't enter in here. That means the workers can go up there and start storing nectar and creating honey. So this box here, the super box, is where all the honey's made. And believe it or not, each one of these frames can hold up to 1 kilo of honey by the end of the season. So by preventing her from getting into there, we will actually be able to produce our own honey here at the zoo. Bees create honey purely for having something to eat in the winter months, when obviously they're not out and about harvesting and there's no plants to nick pollen from. They would normally stash some as a winter food reserve. Now, when you're doing beekeeping, you would obviously supplement their feed in the winter and obviously take their honey. So you can keep all their honey and give them some food supplement instead, which obviously they do really well on. So that is the really interesting thing about this hive, is obviously we have this called a super box at the top and the rest are just the normal boxes underneath. So the queen can't get up there. And we'll be able to tell within a couple of days if she's been in there or not, because obviously there'll be eggs laid on it and we'll be able to see that. So the whole design is that she can't go up, but she can only stay down, but the workers can do what they want. So it's mind-blowing. Once you start learning about bees and their society and how they work, they're just absolutely fascinating, how they all kind of work together as one organism. If you think about them as one thing rather than a whole bunch of individuals, it's really, really mad. Now the bees are going to be working against us, but obviously this is a completely new concept that we've designed specifically for this purpose. So it may or may not work. We don't know. It's a mystery, you know. But this is what the fun is in looking after animals and doing research. You know, this is, if this works out, we could definitely kind of encourage other zoos to do the same, which would be great, because obviously bees are endangered and we definitely want to encourage their populations and encourage more people to keep them, and certainly learn about them and educate people about them, because they are so important for our environment. So all of these, you can replace the glass, you can take all the glass out and clean it, because bees love sticking everything together with propolis. And propolis is like a kind of a tree resin mixed with bee spit, and it hardens up and it becomes really, really tacky. So what we'll probably find, you can see all this red stuff in here, what we'll probably find is they're going to try and glue our windows shut and glue our slides shut and do everything and work against us. So it's going to be an interesting journey and it's going to be an interesting learning curve, so we'll just have to see how it goes. So all we have to do now to finish this hive off is to add an entrance. So most beehives are entered at the bottom. So in the bottom of the bottom box, there's going to be a little hole in the side, and we're going to have an acrylic piece of tubing there, so you'll be able to see the bees coming and going. So you'll be able to see heavily laden bees that have loads of nectar and pollen on them coming into the hive, and obviously see ones that have nothing on them leaving, which is pretty cool. And you might even be able to see a drone every now and then, a male kind of faffing about. Sometimes the females chuck them out of the hive, so you might be able to see some of that happening as well. It's going to be really interesting. There's always going to be something to see because it's going to be very active. Native species building has come along really well. We've got all the glass in for our new Harvest Mouse exhibit, so that's actually beginning to take shape now, which looks really good. So we're hoping to get the harvest mice shifted in next week, and we'll be getting the bees in next week as well. I'll be filming all of that, so you'll be able to see what it's like to move a colony of bees into a brand new hive, and then hopefully by you know, a few weeks time we'll have it all on show so that you guys can come and see it for yourselves. It's a really exciting kind of groundbreaking exhibit, and yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll go well. We're planning on setting up a little webcam so that we can do live feeds from the hive so that you can see what they're up to even if you're not at the zoo, which again is just something that you just can't find anywhere. So I hope you enjoyed that little beehive update. If you've got any questions at all, please feel free to just drop them below. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe to our channel and like this video. Everything helps. The zoo is doing really, really well. We're so humbled by everyone's support, and that everyone is just really enjoying the place and loving it and enjoying coming out. It looks stunning right now with all the greenery and all the trees and plants and everything. It's absolutely gorgeous. And we've got more big plans for this year once this native species project is done. So yeah, watch this space. But in the meantime, enjoy this weather while it lasts, and I will see you again next week when we're transporting bees here to Northumberland Zoo. See you again, guys. Bye.